I am Jeff Ado. This is Lunacy, where we discern the sacred from the insane and admit that whether we like it or not, we are all profoundly affected by the cycles of the moon. Ow! My guest today is my guitar. She will be joining me later. Her name is Stella, and I'm sure you'll be glad to meet her. That's right. Today I'm going to solo cast yet again. I realize this is a lot of solo casts in a row, but there's good reason for that. And it's not just that I can't find a guest. I have been going through a lot of introspection and reflection and changes, and I really feel the need to share that. I feel called to share it. Not just for you, the listener, but really for me, so that I can ground and integrate the lessons that I am learning in a way that I can go back and watch this episode and go, "Oh, that's right. This is you figured out how to be less of a douchebag, and this is how you did it. And so just let's remember how we did it. All right, this is the thing." Yeah. So today I want to share about. I just recently went on this men's retreat, and it was a 10-day retreat. It was geared towards rites of passage for being a man. It was a very enriching experience for me at this particular time in my life. It feels really important that I go through some rites of passage so that I can really strongly enter this next chapter and phase of my life. The retreat itself, I can't tell you exactly what we did. I am sworn to secrecy, which means I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you, which would be really hard because I have no idea where you are right now. You could be deep in the heart of the Congo listening to Lunacy, and how that would please my heart so much. I would be unable to find you and murder you. Also, I have no interest in murdering anyone. So we're not doing that. Okay. The reason for the confidentiality is that there was a lot of sacredness about the retreat that we did. And if I were to share with you the A's, B's, and C's of exactly what we did, you'd be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. I get it." But that would also rob the sacredness that I received and got out of it. In other words, it would devalue it in some way for me. And so therefore, I'm going to keep my vow of confidentiality. Suffice it to say, it was a really amazing experience. It was challenging. I can say that we were out in the desert and that we were out in nature during the course of the retreat. And I got a lot out of it, which I'm going to share with you on this podcast. I also wrote some music, which I'm going to share with you on this podcast. I also bonded really deeply with a group of men that really matter to me. I can tell you that what I experienced, the quote unquote rites of passage that I experienced, forced me to take a really cold, hard, stern, stoic look at myself. Like, oh, that's what you're doing with your life. You don't really want to fucking look at this. All right. I don't want to look at my life like this. All right. I'm not trying to do that because, I just want to keep going. All right. I don't want to look at what an asshole that I've been being for the last however many years. You know what I mean? I want to just keep on doing it and keep on going and not worry about that bullshit. But if you stick a man in a box, if you stick him in a cage for long enough, he starts to see his own mechanisms. There's something about that. It is also the case with meditation. When I meditate for long enough, I start to see all the traps that I have laid for myself. I start to see all the ways in which I am tripping myself up. Such is the case. When you put the mind in a cage, then automatically the mind starts to see its own trappings, its own delusions, its own issues. And thereby the mind or the identity or the real me can really choose whether I'm going to continue to believe that bullshit or I'm going to see through it and not accept it anymore. So a lot of what it was that I discovered for myself had to do with the mother wound. Now, the mother wound is something that all of us share. The way that I picture it is mothers saying like, "Good job, honey. Good job. That's good. You did a great job. Really good job. Good work, honey." Which, by the way, it's peculiar that it's good job, good work. This is a tangent. But in and of itself, that idea, when you say good job, when I say good job to you, good work to you, there's an implication that that's what really matters, that your job is what makes you valuable and that you should work for somebody else. and that you should enslave yourself. Now, I'm not saying people shouldn't work. Definitely working is good. What I am saying is be leery of this idea of good job and good work because there is a fallacy in it that is training our minds to believe that we receive value out of our job and that makes us who we are. Who I am is my job, my work. And I feel it much more important for each of us to live our bliss, to really live our purpose, not necessarily our bliss, because it's not all bliss. It's not all sugar and rainbows, let's be honest. But to live our purpose, to figure out what my purpose is in this life, and then do something that is in alignment with that purpose, and then do my best to make it count, make it effective, and make it good. That is different from working. Back to mom. Mom says, "That's really good, honey. Really good job." That's the validation, right? This piece where I constantly need validation. It comes from the mother. Why does it come from the mother? We look to our mom really for everything. She provided all of our needs in the womb before we came out, and then after we came out, she also provided all of our needs. She provided our milk. She provided our protection, our sustenance. It's a mother that holds us while our umbilical cord is still attached to her. So this need for validation, this constant need for validation, I really had to look at that in my own life. Where is it that I'm still operating out of the need for validation? Where is it that I'm still looking for you to tell me that I'm good enough? And how does that function? Because that's secretly what the need for validation, where it really comes from. It comes out of the false belief that I am not good enough, that there is something fundamentally wrong with me, and that I need you to approve of how I am, who I am, what I'm doing, and how I'm doing it. This need for validation is a toxic lie that I am unable to see unless I really take a cold, hard look at it. Now, this is something that I personally have been wrestling with for a really long time, but particularly in the last 6 months, I've been doing this program, this men's group cohort program, and even before that, where part of the assignment was to look, where is this need for validation? Where is this mother wound in your life, and how does it show up? And when I was on the retreat, I got to see it, really super extra clear with extra clear sauce on top, and it's nasty. It's gnarly. How it shows up for me is like I don't complete projects. I don't finish things because I'm worried that I'm not going to be validated. And if I don't complete them, and if I don't give everything I have to publicizing them, to making them known, to making them available to you, then I don't run the risk of you invalidating me. Then I don't run the risk of you criticizing me, saying that you don't like it. And that is fundamentally, totally operating out of the need for validation. If I'm not going to get validated, I'm not going to do it. And if I am worried that it's not going to be good enough, then I'm not going to do it. And the fact that I even am looking for validation in the first place means that secretly, just underneath the surface, I really believe that everything that I do is not enough and not worth it. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Or, Pennsylvania, all right? Or even Nebraska. Don't fucking cry for me about this, all right? Don't do it. I don't need pity. I am just noticing that that is the way the mind works. And I submit that most of our minds work that way. Not everybody. There are exceptions to the rule. And there are people with different disorders that have them think different ways. And there are people that are raised different. And there are people that have gone through rites of passage that make this super abundantly clear. Now, I'm someone who really wishes that I went through rites of passage like this when I was a younger man, when I was 16, 18, 20, 24, whatever, even multiple times, because I find it supremely valuable to really look at what does it mean to actually be a man, to own who I am as a person, to define and embrace my purpose. Another level of what I'm talking about. I don't care. I care what you think because I care about you, but I don't form my opinion based on how it is that you're going to feel about what I have to say or how I identify or who I am and what I have to contribute. In other words, I'm not doing anymore what I do for your validation. That is to say, I am aware of that trap and I see it coming. Doesn't mean that I won't fall into it again. I'm sure that I will. And on grander and grander scales, it is easier and easier to fall into those traps. And I really hope and pray that I'm able to find my center in those moments and really see beyond that natural addiction to validation, because that's what it is. So for me, that's a lot of what I saw. And going back to the rites of passage and me wishing that that's something that we had, fatherhood has been largely robbed in our culture since, I don't know, the Industrial Revolution, maybe the Agricultural Revolution. I feel like more so the Industrial Revolution, where we had to go to work, going back to work, that theme. Not such a digression after all, right? Working in this country 40 hours a week. Back then, more, probably more, 40 to 60 to 80. I know my father easily worked 60 hours a week, easily, if not more, certain times. And, not to say that he wasn't doing good work and he wasn't doing what he was called to do. In his particular case, he really was doing what he was called to do, which is a beautiful thing about my dad. And I feel very fortunate for him and to be brought into this world by him, having had that experience. Having said that, dad wasn't there to raise me as much as I would have wanted. My father and I grew very close later on in life. But when I was a kid, I was always wishing that he was around. He wasn't around because he was at work, such as I believe the case for almost all boys in this culture. And it's tragic and very sad. And I wish that that were not the case. I also do know that there is a vision of life in which we are not enslaved by anything or anyone, that we are fully sovereign as independent beings. And this is the vision of life that I am living into, that I seek to create for myself and for all those around me. I went through this experience, and a big part of it was that I really got to see where it is that I am holding myself back. And I also firmly got to see who I am. I'm an artist. I'm a singer. I'm a songwriter. I'm an actor. I'm a humorist. That's who I am. My purpose is to liberate humanity with music, laughter, and love. That's who I am. And I seek to bring harmony with ourselves, harmony with each other, and harmony with the planet. That's my mission. That's what I am about. And I know that. And formerly, I wasn't fully stepping into that. Before this experience, I was tiptoeing around it. I was getting closer. I was marching towards it, but I didn't fully get into it. And I didn't fully get to see all of the lies that I had told myself or that had been told to me that I accepted as true. I didn't fully get to see the story that I created about myself that had me shackled and ashamed to be the man that I am, ashamed to be the artist, to fully embrace that side of myself, to fully embrace my gifts and what it is that I have to give to the world, to you and to me. Because that's the thing. If I am guided in a way that has me wanting to give gifts in the form of, say, songs, and I don't give them to the best of my ability, then I'm failing myself. And I don't ultimately know what kind of plan is going on with this life, but I do feel that there is some order to it. I do feel that the creator, God, great spirit, whatever you want to call this being, the source of life, has a plan for each of us. And if I'm called to write songs and bring my music to life, then that's the gift that I have to give. And if I shy away from that, or I don't give it because I'm concerned about whether or not you're going to like it, or my mother is going to like it, or my father is going to like it, or my family's going to like it, if I shy away from it and don't do a good job and I'm stuck in this idea where I have to have validation or approval from other people, man, I'm never going to really fully be able to give it. So, as part of this retreat that I went on, I ended up writing some music. I write music because it fills me up and it helps me to learn things. It is medicine for me. if I'm doing it right, it's wisdom that I'm sharing, and that's the goal. So the first song that I'm going to share with you is called "So Steep." When you're ready to fight the dragon, but you see it's just a worm, and it's burrowed itself inside your heart. Try to catch it as it squirms. With all that heavy armor on, you can hardly make a turn. Sword or shield can help you see the lessons you must learn. Why, oh, why is it so hard to see all the lies we have made up to be? A version that's less than perfect, never worth it. It's a mind that buys the lies that cries to sleep. Why does the road to waking up have to be so steep? So you take it to the desert and you hope to watch it burn. You contemplate and focus straight as the rage against it churns. Reach and grab and poke and stabs and slithers away. Start to see the truth of it as you pray for another day. Why, oh, why is it so hard to see all the lies we have made up to be? A version that's less than perfect, never worth it. It's a mind that buys the lies that cries to sleep. Why does the road to waking up have to be so steep? How much that I wish it was a dragon that I know that I could slay. Instead I see a slimy thing, wet and cold and gray. Now my vain attempts to try to kill it every day. See that I made this worm inside of me, only I can take it away. Why, oh, why is it so hard to see all the lies we have made up to be? A version that's less than perfect, never worth it. It's our mind that binds the lies that cries to sleep. Why does the road to waking up have to be so steep? So steep, so steep. So that song says a lot about my experience. You know, this idea when you're ready to fight the dragon, but you see it's just a worm, is a really powerful idea. You know, we as men, naturally, we want to fight. We're ready to fight a dragon. Put all this heavy armor on to fight this dragon. That's what we want. We want to be the hero. That's ingrained in us. It's in all of the Disney movies. I don't say that flippantly. It's in so many myths. We have this tendency, this need to be the hero. We want to go fight this nasty dragon. And you're ready to fight the dragon, but you see that it's just a worm, this tiny little worm. It's burrowed itself inside your heart. You try to catch it as it squirms, you know, and then now you've got all this heavy armor on. You can hardly make a turn. No sword or shield can help you see the lessons you must learn. You know, that's the reality. It's not obvious, and we don't want to look at it, and it doesn't want to be looked at. That's the other piece. You know, these lies that we tell ourselves that become our identity, they don't want to be looked at, because if they are looked at, then it threatens their existence. Consider that our ego is parasitic in nature. If I look at the ego as a parasite, as a little worm that is feeding on my fears and feeding on the lies that it is telling me, then that's helpful for me to see. And also, as I said, those lies don't want to be looked at. It doesn't want me to look at the need for validation and how it is that I am not enough and why it is that I believe that I am not enough. Because if I start to untangle all those beliefs, it has no power anymore, even though it is causing tremendous suffering for me, has me living in fear, it has me living in desperation, has me not living my dream, has me turning to substances and addictions to get out of this and escape rather than just being truly present, being truly here now, because I have this fundamental lie that I've told myself and that I've believed. So the identity itself doesn't want to unravel any of this, doesn't want me to look at it. It's parasitic in nature. When I start to really look at it, I start to see it. Oh man, now I've got it. But it's not this big ass dragon. It is this slimy little worm that's constantly getting away from me and finding new ways to lie to me and showing me new evidence that it's right in my life, because it's trying to create, oh, if we just set up this situation secretly, so that he walks into this and then he's going to have that interpretation and we're back. We're back to feeling like we're a piece of shit, or we're back to feeling like we're insufficient again, right? It's nasty, nasty, like parasites are. Why, oh, why is it so hard to see all the lies we have made up to be a version that's less than perfect, never worth it? It's our mind that buys the lies that cry us to sleep. And by the way, we're not necessarily crying to sleep, but it's those things that we think about as we're trying to go to sleep, or those regrets that we have in our life for things that we did that we haven't made amends for. And we're not necessarily crying about it. Frankly, if we were actually crying about it, that might be better, because we'd be moving some energy and we'd be able to see through it. Typically, especially if you're a man, you're not crying yourself to sleep. You're just fixating on it and stewing on it. But it's our mind that buys the lies that cry us to sleep. Why does the road to waking up have to be so steep? It's because we have to really look and take full responsibility for that. I created these lies, no matter where they came from. I'm running the program. I am the program runner. That is creating my own sovereignty and owning my own sovereignty and owning my own kingship. If I'm really owning my own king, then I'm taking full responsibility for all of it. Oh, that's me. I'm doing that, which is very challenging because it's super slippery, and the lies are always trying to reinvent themselves. And it's challenging because it takes a lot of courage. But that is what there is to do: is to claim our sovereignty. So you take it to the desert and you hope to watch it burn, right? You go into deep contemplation somewhere and you hope to watch this worm burn, this identity worm burn. You contemplate and focus straight while the rage against it churns. You start to see it. Now you're getting mad at it because you're trying to see, oh, this is the thing that's been holding me back in whatever way. You reach and grab and poke and stab as it slithers away. You can't catch this thing. You start to see the truth of it as you pray for another day. You start to get a glimmer of, wait, if I see that I made this and I own it, there's something I could do about it. Let's pray for another day. And then the chorus again, and then of course the bridge. How much that I wish it was a dragon that I know that I could slay. Instead, I see a slimy thing, wet and cold and gray. In all my vain attempts to try to kill it every day, I see that I made this worm inside of me and only I can take it away. And then the chorus again. In all my vain attempts to try to kill it every day, I see that I made this worm inside of me and only I can take it away. That's rich for me because I am trying to kill that part of me that doesn't think it's enough. That's part of my deal as a man. And yet I am addicted to that thing. But that I'm trying to kill this part of myself every day that feels that it is insufficient. And then I recognize that I made this idea in the first place. I made this worm inside of me and only I can take it away. The only way that I can vanquish this worm is not with my sword and my armor, but with my ownership. And really, there's a love aspect to that, right? I have to love this little worm that brought me to be the way that I am. This is another song that I want to share with you that I wrote during my experience. It's called Sometime Soon. Watching the moon rise over the mountains after the sun is neatly set. But the sky is purple and it's clear as it can get. Stars have yet to show themselves and how they sing their song. Soon the night will swallow us, one and all before long.
song just for the moon. For the bees and bats and mice and cats, cactus in its bloom. I give you all my love and hope to see you sometime soon. And the stars have made their presence known as the mice have made their bed. Lay myself beneath the sky and relax my weary head. Sounds so sweet as crickets feed and the bats giving their call. Let my mind just drift away in the wonder of it all. I like to write a song just for the mountain. I like to write a song just for the moon. For the bees and bats and mice and cats, cactus in its bloom. Give you all my love and hope to see you sometime soon. Now the sun is rising up again by the path of the moon. All those pretty colors it has painted make me swoon. Filled with gratitude and latitude, with an attitude of grace. So thankful to the Maker to be brought into this place. I like to write a song just for the mountain. I like to write a song just for the moon. For the bees and bats and mice and cats, cactus in its bloom. Give you all my love and hope to see you sometime soon. Give you all my love and hope to see you sometime soon. Give you all my love and hope to see you sometime soon.
That's sometime soon. What else I wanted to say about this whole experience is how grateful I am to be living the life that I'm living, to be surrounded by the people that surround me, to have the family that I have, to have the friends that I have, to live in the house that I live in. I recognize and see so clearly how incredibly fortunate I am to be living this life. And I am so grateful how much I see that gratitude for me is so important to keeping myself grounded, to keeping myself on purpose, to keeping myself whole. I want to encourage all of us. I want to encourage you and I want to encourage me to continue to be grateful for the life that we have, that we've been given. If just for this breath, if just for this song, if just for this moment, just for this meal, if just for this day, I really want to encourage us to just be grateful for what we have and being grateful to be present to what we have. And I really want to encourage us to love this life, to love this life, love ourselves, love ourselves. That's the only thing that kills the worm or has it turn into a butterfly. That's the only thing that really works is love. That's really the only valuable tool in the arsenal is love. Not swords, not shields. They're valuable for certain things, but ultimately, love is the super weapon. My next steps are to make an integrity list of what it is that's out for me, agreements that are out, communications that I have yet to have with certain people that I need to have, that I don't want to have, but I'm going to have them, those kind of things. And just really taking stock, inventory of what it is that I'm up to, what it is that I'm about, what it is that I want to do, what it is that I have the opportunity to do. So those are my next steps. And wherever it is that you are on your journey, I hope that this podcast has been valuable to you in some way. And if it is that you are seeking to have some initiation or rites of passage experience for yourself, feel free to email me, info@jeffado.com. I can point you in the right direction. I would also suggest one of the best ways to do that is to go camping by yourself. If you want to support this podcast, please go to patreon.com/lunacy podcast. Much love to all of you. See you next time.